Applying for jobs in 2025 feels like online dating. You put out 100 applications, you get ghosted by 99, and then the one that does reply is offering $15 an hour and room to grow, which is essentially corporate lingo for you're gonna be broke forever. That being said, in recent polls, it was found that the unemployment rate in America currently sits at just 4.2%. In theory, this sounds like a strong figure, right? 96% of actively employable people are working, but statistics can be highly misleading. And it seems like, at least in my experience, that we all know people that are actively searching for a job or severely underemployed. So if this sounds like you and you've been forced to endure the tedious, dehumanizing system that is the job market in the past couple of years, you probably know where this is headed. The job market is indeed cooked. And for young people, try super cooked. The qualifications that used to lead to a steady career, like a college degree and relevant experience, now seem to mean little to nothing in the eyes of employers. So how did this happen? Why does it seem so hard just to get a normal, decent paying, standard American job? And is this a trend that's gonna last? Real fast before we get started, if you're interested in all things finance, investing, and careers, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. So here's the confusing thing. Unemployment in the United States is technically low. The government will tell you that the job market is doing well. But if that's true, why does it feel like pulling teeth just to get a normal paying job? The problem with these statistics is that they don't show underemployment, applicants getting ghosted by companies, and people working jobs significantly beneath their skill level. So it's like, yes, the jobs technically exist, but getting one that actually pays the bills and offers you a decent quality of life, that's the hard part. It's true that if you're willing to work retail or wait tables, you probably can still pull off getting a job. And trust me, I'm not knocking it. I bartended all through college. It was extremely lucrative. I met a lot of great people. But the quintessential strong American job that requires more refined skills has become so crowded by applicants that getting one is an absolute nightmare. Many people are finding themselves forced to accept jobs far beneath their skill level just because of the sheer volume of applicants. So it's like, even if you're qualified for a job and you apply, the mathematical probability of you being selected is so low just because there's so many people all vying for a limited number of positions. And if you're young and recently out of school like me, this means that you're now competing against people with decades of industry experience that are all attempting to fight against being underemployed. And this is all happening in a job market that no longer values employee loyalty. So with that, people jump around all the damn time. So it's like, good luck standing out against people with 15 years of industry experience. You can only exaggerate and fib so much on your resume. Part of this problem stems from the ease of job application. Sites like LinkedIn, Monster, and Indeed have reduced the job application process oftentimes to a single click. With even just a small amount of determination, you could easily apply for hundreds of jobs in a single afternoon, saturating the applicant pool and making it a huge pain in the ass for all parties involved. This means also that there's a huge portion of people applying to jobs that they are wildly underqualified for because it's so easy to just click quick apply and maybe exaggerate your credentials a little bit. So this means that if you're someone that's applying for this role that's actually qualified for it, your application is getting lost in the masses of people that are all clicking quick apply that really have no business even applying for the job in the first place. So unfortunately, if you didn't think that was bad enough, it actually gets worse. A lot of these job postings that you see online aren't actually even real. A lot of people are already aware of these so-called ghost jobs, but not truly to the scale in which they actually exist. According to myperfectresume.com, 81% of recruiters admit to actively posting ghost jobs. Not like 15, 20, 25%, 81%. So why is this? It's important to remember that companies are always acting in the interest of their owners and their shareholders. By posting ghost jobs, companies can create the public perception that their company is doing well financially. By bringing on new people, it creates the impression that, ooh, the company's doing great, look at how much we're growing. But behind the scenes, none of those applications are actually real. It also serves to keep their current employees on the edge of their seat because it creates the impression of extreme replaceability and job insecurity. Like, whoa, my role has 1,200 applicants that are all ready to take my seat tomorrow, and maybe even for less money. I should just shut my mouth, work as hard as possible, and prove to the company that I'm worth having here. This allows companies to keep their employees' salaries low, while giving them the extremely harsh impression that they could be replaced in an instant. It's a pretty screwed up practice, but it's pretty much the industry norm. Corporations are always looking to have record-breaking years financially to keep their shareholders and their owners happy. So to accomplish this, they oftentimes put a huge emphasis on reducing labor costs because for most businesses, it's the largest recurring annual expense. So what that does is it just passes on the burden of always keeping more and more money coming into this company off to its employees that are now expected to work harder and get less in return. Kind of some bullshit, right? So as someone recently out of school, I by definition have been looking for jobs that are classified as entry level. But there is something funny going on. Entry level no longer means entry level. Jobs that put this in their description are now requiring between 3 and 5 years of work experience. So it's like, hold up. I need 3 to 5 years of experience to get the job that's supposed to be designed to give me the experience. It literally says verbatim entry level in the title. But the thing is, these jobs aren't actually designed to help you start your career. They're once again another tool that companies use to keep salaries as low as possible. Their objective is to attract a candidate that's capable, doesn't need a lot of expensive training, and already understands the nuances of the job, but is willing to accept a salary equivalent to that of an entry-level position. So it's like they want to have their cake and eat it too, right? They want someone who's qualified, but is willing to work for as little pay as possible. So it's to the point where these quote-unquote entry-level jobs are like, please upload your 3 different resumes, your cover letter, your 18 different references, and your PhD in rocket science just for a $16 an hour job. So it's absolutely no wonder that people like you and me are totally burnt out with this system, and something desperately needs to change. So if things truthfully are so dire, what should you actually focus on to get the best job possible? While it's true that you can get a job from cold applying on a job board like LinkedIn, Monster, or something like that, it's very likely that that job is going to be kind of crap. I've been on so many job interviews off sites like this where when I ask about compensation plans, it's something like this. Well, we're fully commissioned here, so that means that you really got to dig your feet in and reap what you sow. Which is pretty much just corporate for, we don't want to pay you anything and we only will give you a little bit of money if you make us a bunch of money. Or, yeah, man, we really like what we see. How does $16 an hour sound to you? And hey, we all have to start somewhere. And I totally understand that a lot of people have the perception that Gen Z is spoiled or not willing to work, but it's not about that. It's about not being abused. So to combat this, I cannot emphasize enough to people in a similar position, focus on your personal networking as much as possible. Ask as many people around you as possible about what they do. Find people that are successful in fields that are interesting to you and express curiosity. People care about people. Companies only care about money. Making money is their express function. It doesn't make them evil, it's just what they're designed to do. For people to be willing to give you opportunities, they need to feel confident or vested in you and your success. That is not something that can be communicated through a one-click apply on Indeed or an AI-generated cover letter. Most people truly are ready and willing to help others. So if you focus on that, I guarantee you far more opportunities will come your way than just spamming these job boards on the internet. On top of this, do absolutely everything that you have to do to build a strong enough financial base that you're not desperate for an immediate paycheck. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a position where you're forced to say yes to a subpar opportunity just to keep the lights on and the gears turning. This is not a position anybody wants to be in. Love him or hate him, the most famous line from Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, reads this: "If you're not willing to walk away from the table, you cannot negotiate." Period. Desperation forces people into subpar circumstances. Focus on building yourself up above this. I understand it's easier said than done, but we all have to start somewhere. How's your job search been? Have you developed any successful strategies? Let me know down in the comments below. And trust me, I am someone who understands just how frustrating it can be. Focus on trying to find a career and a job socially rather than relying on these corrupt platforms. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Till next time, see ya.